everyone, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here and you popped over to see what I am up to. For everyone who is new here, welcome. My name is Janny and I'm doing this all about Christmas channel. Of course, on this channel you will find lots and lots of seasonal decor DIYs and daily decor DIYs. If you like this content and you're not subscribed to my channel, of course I hope you will click the red subscribe button and give me a thumbs up and hit the bell so you will be notified every time I upload new DIYs. Of course I keep it short, but if you want to see more DIYs, come on over to my description box. There you find the link for our DIY channel, so go check it out. Enough talking, we are going to start a brand new DIY. And you see, ready for this DIY, we need of course our tumbling towel blocks, some paint at your choice. I have here some twine, but we're going to use some rope, some thicker rope. So, and of course you can use some ribbon. I have here my glue for my glue gun. Of course I have my wood glue. I have my little bucket with some scissors, some brushes, some cutting tools, a little bit what you need. And I have here my ribbon, and this is a different ribbon, this without a wire, and this is just a fabric ribbon. He is very sturdy. I show that to you in a moment, because we are going to make our own simple rounds. We are going to make our own Christmas bells, so we will see how this will turn out. We are going to make two sizes of our bells, a medium and a large. Of course we are going to start with the large, and we're going to glue 12 blocks on top of each other. This 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and number 12. So like this, we're going to do it very easy, and we're going to glue them together because we need a round, and we're just going to place them to each other this way and this way, so it can easily dry in already. And over here, and this one. And of course I used the wood glue, but you can use any glue like you, maybe you all use the E6000 if I am correctly, or maybe you have some kind of wood glue inside of your glue gun. I can't find the glue sticks over here, so I was already looking, but that's when I heard from a lot of people, it is amazing if you have a glue stick with some wood glue inside of it. It must be the which is so great, but I didn't find it over here, so I hope maybe you already have it, so that would be great, and then you can use it already. But I still need to do it with my wood glue because we don't have it over here. So this is already row number 1. We are going to make 3 rows of 12, and again for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And of course for everyone who uses the smaller blocks, I will tell you in a moment what you will need, because also with the smaller blocks it's easy to make this kind of bells. And a lot of you have the smaller blocks, also a lot of you have the larger blocks, so it is a little bit depending on where you live, I have a feeling. So I have to order my smaller blocks online. I don't use them a lot lately, but maybe I have to make a couple of DIYs with the smaller blocks again. And like this is already, squeeze it, and again make a nice straight line like this. And we get our wet towel. Also always have a wet towel, an old wet towel in your hand, because it is always nice to wipe away the wood glue we don't need. And again make a nice straight line, and this is already a row number 2. And the last one, we have already 4, 5, 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If everything is correctly, I will have 12 pieces, of course, of 12. Of course I have to say it right. Here in the Netherlands we say 12. So it's a little bit different. You call it 12 and we call it 12. So it's a little bit different, and we have it's 3 high and we call it 3 hoog. So you also learn a little bit of Dutch while we DIYing. And this is almost the last, and we glue it together this way, squeeze it, And again, make a nice straight line, and we're pressing it down. We're getting our towel, and we make one wipe over it, and again make a nice straight line, and then we're going to let this dry in for a couple of minutes. So I did let them dry in for a couple of minutes, and they are not totally dry, so be careful if you place them on the side. We are going to do some glue on the line, very easy this way, and we're going to do it on this way. Oh, you see already I'm going all the way with my glue. I'm such a big mess with glue. So don't mind me. I'm going to place them against each other this way and this way, and we're going to squeeze all of them together because you still can work with it because they are not totally dry yet. So always get your blocks together and wipe away the glue which is coming out. And now we already have one big plank. So now we have our own wooden plank, and we can use it for the tops of our bells, and this needs a lot of drying. So that's why I make it already in front, because if you want to saw a round out, you always have to make sure that your glue did dry in very well, or else you will break apart. So this is for the both of the tops of the bells. So, and for the people who use the smaller blocks, you have to make 4 rows of 17 blocks. So 4 rows high and 17 blocks. So 4 pieces of 17, and then glue everything together. And then you also have your plank for the tops of your bells. Now we're going to go do the sides of our bells. It's very easy. We are going there. It's going a little box of my tumbling tower blocks. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take first I'm going to make a row of 3. Very easy. On the tops you do a little glue, and you're going to place them together this way, and you make, this is already 1 of 3, and we are going to make for the first bell, of course, also a piece of 12, and again place them together. And oh, you see already I have a smaller block. This is not what we want, and I already have a big one. This is again number 2, and this is so easy to make. And then we're going to later place some ribbon, and we can very easily make our round. Of course, there are probably so many ways to make a round, but I've recently found out with the ribbon, and I'm so happy how this is working. On my other channel I made like a clock over here. I thought it would be a wekker, like we call it here, but it's more like a pendule, we call it. So I'm really happy how he turned out. I have him in my home, so I am really happy. Maybe if you want to see how I made this clock, come on over to the description box, and there you find the link for our DIY channels, and there you find also other DIYs from Tumbling Tower Blocks with Diane and me. So if you're not familiar with Deco Easy, go check it out. And again, another one of 3, and I'm going to wipe them away, and this is already 6 pieces. So I did the first 6 pieces I did on the side, so I have a little bit more room, and they are drying a little bit better, because if you place them on the side, they can come a little bit air with it, and then always your glue is drying a little bit better than you just leave it down. That's why I most of the time do a lot of projects on my side. And again, this one, you see already, this one is very small, so I'm going to get another one, because I think he is, for what I want to do, is too small. I will use it for another project later, but for this project he is really too small. And you just saw already how many blocks sometimes in one package are, which are just not the right size, and that keeps a really difficult thing sometimes. And then to make your DIY, you do your best, and of course, but not every small block you can use. So sometimes I have to place it aside and use it for another project, but you probably have all the same problem like I have. So Again, number 4, now the last 2, and then we are already done. And of course, I will do the other bell a little bit faster, so don't worry, you don't have to see it constantly. So this way, this is already number 5, and I'm going to place it on the side, just move it around. And this is already over here. And now the last, and this is 1, and the number 2, and I'm going to place this one on top. And this is already our 12 pieces of 3. So you see here my 12 rows of 3, and if you use the smaller blocks, because we are going to place them in a moment, we are going to turn them over this way. If you use the smaller blocks, you need 4 high, so you don't need pieces of 3 blocks, you need pieces of 4 blocks long, and you don't need 12, you need 17. So for the smaller blocks, 4 high and 17 blocks, 70 rows of blocks. I have here 12 and you need 17 and 4 high. So I'm going to place all of my blocks again on the table this way. And you see already he's not totally dry, because you see already one of them is falling off. And of course I'm going to look if I need to glue it again, or he still glues on his own, but he was still not dry. So I'm going to lay them together in a nice straight line like this. And take your time for it, that you make a nice straight line. Maybe sometimes you have to turn over a couple of them and do one on the ending, do one in the middle. Just look, because the blocks are not always the same. So be sure that you take a little bit of your time to see your straight line again. And then I'm going to get my ribbon. So you see, I made them next to each other. I tried to get a nice straight line, especially on the top. You have to make sure that you have a nice straight line. Then later your top of your round of your top of your bell will glue much easier than that you doesn't fit each other. So try at least the top. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get my ribbon. Very easy, and make sure if you use a ribbon like this one, you see it's a very sturdy one, and of course, because we're going to bend it, you see if you do use the printed one, and you do it on this side and you're going to bend it, then you're going to see the white, black and white stripe in between, and we don't like that. So we are going to go for the black side on the underside, and I'm going to go a little offline over here and a little over here. So I make sure that I'm fitting in between and this way, and I'm going to cut this one also straight. And of course I have to do it right. And if you're looking correctly, he is totally in fitting inside of here. So I'm going to make 3 pieces of the same length. So very easy, just place them on top of each other, and we're going to measure them out. This is number 2 and number 3. And this ribbon is very easy to find because it's wireless, and most of the time you can earlier find a wireless ribbon than ribbon with wire. So at least here in the Netherlands, I don't know how it is somewhere else, but of course I have to make sure that I have this one also in a straight line. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to do some glue, of course, over here on this line, and I'm going to place it over here. So I'm going to get my glue, and I'm going to use this glue, but use any glue you like, but you have to use some glue which is fitting also for text fabric. So again, I'm going to do this one over here and just work a little bit with it, so I get the whole line with my glue. So I go from left to right over here, and I'm going to place it down, and I'm going to have to be sure that I still have it in one row. I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to place it over here and just lay it down very gently, and don't press it, not yet. I'm going to take another one. I'm going to again some glue, And I did cut out 3 pieces, but if I am looking correctly and I want to go on the safe side, I think then I'm going for maybe even 4 rows of ribbon. So I'm going to lay this one also over here. And I'm going to, of course, he's not working with me. Over here. I'm sorry. So I'm going for number 3. And over here, just again, make sure that you cut every piece of that ribbon. And this glue, I don't know what it is, but the the smell is awful. It's really awful. I am really get my breath. So I'm going to do this one over the line. And I'm going to take number 4 because I want to be sure. So, but if you think 3 is more than enough, it's also fine too. But I go for the certainty that it doesn't fall out. So I'm going to go for 4 pieces. Again, I'm going to place it over here and over the lining. And this way. And I'm going to let this dry in at least for a couple of hours. And for the large bell, we are going to use 4 blocks long. So very easy. We're going to do the tops again, but only 3 tops instead of 2. And this is number 3. And we're going to glue them together. And now we have 4 pieces glued together, and now we're going to make 12 rows of 4. And if you use the smaller blocks, of course, you don't need 4 high, you need 5 high, and you need 17 rows. So I need 12, you need 17, and you don't need 4 this way, but you need 5. And you see here, I have my 12 pieces of 4 again. And you see, they are still not dried up. I really touched them lightly and they already fall apart. So what we're going to do, I'm going to place them together and I'm going to place them sideways and this way. And I see already with this block, you see, this one is so much smaller on the inside. So I have to be sure that I have this one a little bit over to here, because or else I never can glue it together again. You see, he still is not want to dry. You see, he's totally, the glue is totally dried up. Some blocks have that, I don't know how you say it in English. At least some blocks take all the glue, and you have to make sure that you keep it in place. So you have to do some new glue. And you see, he's still not wanting to settle down. He is not happy with me, so I'm going to place the rest of them down this way, the same like we did with the medium size. We're going to place them together and we're going to work with it to make sure that we have a nice pieces and that we don't have too much open gaps. So we're going to look for, you see already this one is also having a block which is very small in between, and this also falling apart, but it doesn't matter, don't worry. Again, we do some little bit of glue on the side, on the top, and we glue it together again, because everything is gluing very fast, so don't worry about it. And we're going to place them next to each other, and we're going to figure out if everything is fitting correctly before we do the ribbon. So everything is on one line again. We're going to take the ribbon the same like we did with the other one. We're going to cut it off and we're going to make 5 pieces, because I do one here, one on the lining, one on the lining here, one on the lining here, and the other side. So for I take 5 But to make the choice for yourself how many ribbons you want to have. And what you also can do is maybe, I don't know if you've seen an elastic band. I never tried it, but maybe it's the round is even getting better. But I don't know. I've always used this ribbon, but let me know if you have another way to do it. And here you see both of our pieces, which will become a bell, a Christmas bell, is everything is correctly. I let it dry overnight, so now everything is really dried up. So I have two pieces of this, and of course we have our plank we already made at the beginning. What we're going to do, because we need a top of our bell, so I'm going to lay this apart, get my plank, and what I'm going to do, I'm looked for which size I needed, and I needed 11 centimeters, not in totally, but 11. This is just my paint can. He is 11, so I'm going to make two of them with a round. So I'm going to try to do it a little bit economical, if I say it right, because maybe then later I can use this for another DIY. So I'm going to go for this way, and I'm just going to go very easy, make a nice round on it, and you just have to be looking for in your home which is the size you need when you just fold it this way and just make a nice round of it, and then you can just easily measure out the top. And of course maybe it's not completely the size, but you can work with it, and later on you still can make it a little smaller or a little bigger. That's always what I have. So I have, of course, this is already one round, you see already, and I'm going to make a second one also over here, and I try to make it a little bit thicker, because I always say I'm an old lady and I need to see it where I place my jigsaw. So I always making the lines a little bit thicker, and sometimes if I even don't see it, I am going to do it with some black marker over it, and then I can really see what I need. But this must be enough. It's early in the morning, you see. And now I already have my two rounds I need for the top of my bells, because the top will be the same measurement as both, because we did here 12 and you did with your smaller blocks 17 blocks. So your round will be a little bit bigger, maybe 11 of the 11, 12, 13. You have to look for just very easy. If you have the smaller blocks, just make it a nice little round on your table. Keep it in place. Maybe you can do some tape on it and then measure out from this side to this side, and then you can look for a round which is the same, and then you can glue it on top. So, but first we're going to go outside, we're going to cut it out, and we're going to make exactly in the middle a hole. And I make the hole as big as your rope will be. So if you have a thicker rope, just look a little bit, no, he's maybe this thick, just make a little drill here, a little hole from the same size. So we're going to cut it out and make a little hole. And here you see already the little round with the hole inside. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to first make a nice round with my pieces. And I'm going to have some tape, which you can just pull easily out of each other this way. And I'm going to make a nice round. So I'm going to tape this and make sure that it is in a nice round shape. And this way. I'm going to do also under here a nice, and you see, this is what I mean now. I just did tape it, and of course this way, and now I have a nice round over here. And I'm going to do also, of course, for this one, because this one also needs a nice round. So I have to be sure that all pieces are open and they can make a nice round. And you see, this one is a little bit attached. I'm going to bend it over, and again I'm going to take my tape again, and I'm going to place it a little bit sideways to each other and this way, and I'm going to get some tape and I'm going to tape it around, and of course I'm going to do it on the underside also, to make sure then when we're going to glue it, everything stays in place. You see, and now we can very easily make a nice round. And this way, of course, the tape has to has to stick. That's the sad thing about this tape. It doesn't have much stickiness to it, but we do with it. We are going to get, of course, some glue, and we are going to do on the top, we are going to do some wood glue. And I have to be sure if I do it on this side or I'll do it on the other side. I have to be sure that everything has a nice straight line, or maybe the underside has. I have to look for, I think this one, it has. So I'm going to do some glue on the top. Of course, I have to turn it over this way or else I can't see what I'm doing. That's not really always a great thing if you're DIYing and you have no idea what you do, what you're doing. And most of the time I don't. So I'm going to go over here and we're going to do on each block some glue. And I'm going to make sure that I have a straight line, and of course I'm going to glue this on the top. And I think I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to make sure that I find the spot that which is fitting the best. Of course, because it's always a little bit difficult to get exactly the same size. So don't worry if you don't have exactly the same size. I have the same problem with you. So don't worry about it. So we just find the middle the best we can. And we're going to squeeze it down a little. So, and I'm going to do the second one also. And here you see I gave both of them a couple of hours for drying. Of course, he's not totally dry because then you have to leave it overnight. But I'm going to do carefully and then you can work with it. I'm going to remove the tape. And of course, I'm going to take both of them outside and I'm going to give them a spray paint. What I'm going to do, I'm going to spray paint it first in the black color. And then I'm going to go over it with my gold color. So we will see how this will turn out. I hope I get a little bit of an old feeling, but we will see how this will turn out. You see that in a moment. For you it's only seconds. In the meantime, while our two bells are drying, and I am already loving the gold because he's drying up in a little bit of spots. I don't know how it's possible, but he's not totally in one color, so I'm really loving it. I am having two styrofoam balls, and you have to look for with your own bell which one is fitting, which is coming under out of your bell. And I'm going to do some pick inside of here some wooden piece, and I'm going to do this also in this one. And of course, I'm going to give it now a black color, very easy, just a schoolboard paint black. So I won't bore you with that. I will paint it, like I said, in the black color, like this. And I'm going to let this dry. And here you see how our bells turned out, and they are still drying a little bit. They are almost dry. What I'm going to do, I'm going to place them beside, and of course I have here, this is the rope I will use, a little bit of the lighter color, and he's not so thick. So I use this one, but choose any rope you like. What I'm going to do, I'm going to place this aside because you see already over here I have 3 pieces of ribbon, and this is a little bit more like the organza ribbon. You see, you can see right through. They are very thin. What I'm going to do, I'm going to lay all 3 of them over each other this way, and I'm going to make one layer because we are going to use them for hanging down our bells. So I'm going to do 3 of them together this way and make a nice straight line. I'm going to first fold one of them double, and I'm going to get my scissor and I'm going to cut a nice, and of course I have to cut the different side, and not this one. I have to turn it over or else we don't get a nice fishtail. So again, I'm going to cut it sideways this way. And now you see already you have a nice fishtail over here. And I still leave them on top of each other. We're going to work our way down this way. And we're going to go further and do it as long as you want, because everyone has his own choice in that. So I'm going to go for a little longer, and I'm going to work again down and again, still another little piece. And I'm going to over here, I think I am over here. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to lay it next to each other this way, and we're going to double it up again. And that's the hardest thing with organza. It goes all the way. It doesn't go where you want to go. Where you want to go. So this one, we're going to double it up, and we're going to make again a little cut sideways. So we get a nice fishtail also on this side. And you see, we have again our own fishtail. I'm going to make two rows of this kind of a ribbon. And I'm going to lay it beside because we need it for the top. So I will do the other one out of camera. So what we're going to do with the ribbon, I have here the ribbon. You see here, this is the piece, the two of the three pieces are on top of each other. I have a brown, a black and a green one. I am going to double them up, but not really on the same length. I do one longer than the other one. And I'm going to just double them up, but like I said, a little bit sideways. So this way, just turn them off a little, and I'm going to fold this one in, and I'm going to fold this one in. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a push pin like this. I hope you can see what I mean. And I'm going to stick it through. And of course, I hope that is coming out. And I'm going to place it as close to the little hole that I can, like this. Of course, I'm going to get up and I'm going to squeeze it in. At least I hope I can squeeze it in. Of course, take your time for it. Of course, I'm doing it again in front of camera, and that never works. But I'm going to get it in this way. And you see already, now he's already on his place, and later we're going to work this away, but first we're going to do our rope inside. I'm going to do the second one. And you see already I have all the push pins inside, and of course I did 3 because I want to spread them out a little. And don't worry, you won't see it later anymore. So now I can place my ribbons a little bit to the sides, and I have one longer than the other one. Now I'm going to get my rope, and I'm going to squeeze the rope, turn it in the way that the rope is going, and I'm going to squeeze it inside. And then I hope I can get it from the other side down. So this is a little of a task, so don't worry, I'm going to get it down. So I will place my camera on because I think this is the moment you want to see it. What I did in the bigger one, I did go totally down, and I took the piece out. You see over here, I did it out, and I did as long as my bell was. This side I measure it out. I want to let come a little piece out because there still needs to be a little ball under it. I measured out the length, and that's why and a little piece out, and I'm going to measure out. I did a knot inside on here this way, and I'm going to pull again the rope up, and you see already he can't go further. So this is already one of our bells. Now we're going to do the second one. Of course, we are going to let this rope come out. I have to show it you this way. Let it come out, and you see already I want to have a little piece out of it for the bell. And here needs to be, I think, the knot, so over here. So I'm going to place a knot in here, and this way they are attached to each other. So I hope I am in the right position. I'm going to pull it out, and you see he is coming out a little piece, and I'm going to place it down, and you see now we also have a piece of the bells for here, and now we can do them the size we want to have them. So but now they are already, the rope is out. And of course you also can do two separate pieces if you want to have them separately from each other, but I like that they are to each other. So this way, so I can make a loop on top of here and do with some twine over it and make sure that everything sticks. You have a loop over here so you can hang them. But first I'm going to leave them this way. I'm going to place them beside, of course beside, because we still want to have our balls on top of here. So, and here you see how I did the loop, very easy. I just turned over a couple of times the same rope I used for, of course, for the bells. But you can use also another color if you like that better, maybe red or white, or maybe black rope. It doesn't matter. I have it this way, and I have them a little bit, like I said, I will turn them up. And you see already they are different sizes. So I'm going to go right now to some greenery, because now we're going to work everything on the top away with some greenery. And you see already on my table this kind of greenery picks. I'm making sets of 3. But before we're going to do the finishing off, of course we still have our black little balls which are needed for hanging under it. I'm going to turn it over, and you see already a little hole, and we are going to need this because the rope still needs to go in. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get my pick, and I'm going to make little holes over here to make the hole a little bigger, because our twine of our rope needs to go in. So just go with your picks and just make a nice little opening over here, and then we can get the styrofoam out this way. And just take your time for it and just make a little opening like I am doing right now. So you see I made little holes inside of my styrofoam bowl, and of course I measured it out with my piece of rope if it is fitting when I'm turning it, and then place it in. Of course I don't want to be having the risk that you see some white. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get my pencil, at least we call it here in the Netherlands pencil, but of course you call it brush. I'm going to do some paint on top of here a little bit, and I'm going to again do the inside of the ball again, because we don't want to be having the risk that it doesn't look very nice on the outside. So I'm going to do the inside, and I'm going to lay it apart to dry. And here you see I placed you a little bit lower, and you still see our push pins over here. What we're going to do, we're going to decorate it with some simple greenery. You can go all the way if you want to have more branches, more color, just do whatever you think is right. I'm going to keep it in the neutral tones, and I'm going to cut off pieces of the 3 ones like this, very easy. I'm going to show it to you in a moment. So kind of pieces like this. I have you a little bit higher because or else you can't see on top. So this kind of pieces, I'm going to go off my branch. And what I'm also going to do, you see over here, you see one branch which has a little bit like a stamp over here. You see this way, because for over the little ribbon we are going to do one of the greenery downstairs. You see that in a moment. So I already picked out 2 of them, so I'm going to go for the other side already one. Of course it has to cut, and this one, and we're going to lay it beside. What we're going to do, I have here already one of them. I bent already the stamp, because then he can hang over here. You see already he is possible that he hangs, but you see here I have here an opening which is not very nice side to see. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get a loose greenery. I'm going to cut off the ending because that's plastic. We don't like plastic. So we are going to, and I'm going to glue an extra one just on the top over here. So I'm going to do some glue on the back side of this greenery this way. And I'm going to place it, I hope you can see it on camera, I'm going to place it over here this way. So, and now it's a little bit fuller than normally with the tree. So just get one piece of the branch and just glue it with your glue gun, and you have already a nice closing up for the top. What I'm going to do with this one, because that's what we're going to start with, I'm going to get my bell and I'm going to do the twine inside, and it stands a little bit better. I'm going to look for, and I'm going to place it exactly in between the ribbon. Three this side and the shorter one this side, and I'm going to get some glue and I'm going to place it in between. So very easy. I'm just going to do some glue over here, and I'm going to lay my stamp very easily and gently on top of here, and I'm going to keep it in place. I remove this one, and now I'm going to wait until it is dried up. Of course, it takes a little moment of your time, but you will have so much more of your DIY, and it looks a little bit more neater if you do it this way. Just lay it inside, give it a little time to dry up, because or else if you go further it will be one big mess. So I have both of them hanging over here. What I'm going to do, because we are going to do a 3-piece over it, but I'm not totally satisfied, so I'm going to do 2 loose pieces like this, and I'm going to, they are the same length. I'm going to cut off the ending, so the plastic away in this one and on this one. So you see I have the tops, I did them off. I do some glue on the back side, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to hang down one over here on this side. Very easy, very carefully, just keep it in place to make it a little bit fuller on this side, or else if I do a 3-piece over it, you will look inside of it, and that's not what we want. So again, do some glue on the back side, not too much on this side, and we're going to place it on this side of the branch, and again squeeze it and place it, keep it in place for a little moment, and this way until it is dried up. And I'm going to do on the other side the same. So the next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to place one on this side and one on this side. So make sure not totally over it, because okay, else you get a really big piece. I'm going to do some glue on one of the 3-piece, just the ending, and I'm going to lay it close to the other, but not totally over it, but this way. And I'm going to do also on the other side one. So very carefully, of course we need to get away of the glue, and this way we glue it in, and we're going to get the other side, and also we are going to do some glue on the back side, and we're going to place it over here on this side, and again wait until it is dried up, and then we're going to do also on the other branch the same. So, and you see already this is the top, and the rest is very easy. We're just going to take a 3-piece again, we do some glue on the ending, and we just go over with the round. We're just following our way. We're going to do this way, and make sure that you have the rope on top, so that you doesn't glue it together. So this way, and I'm going to glue this one on this side. Again, some glue over here, and we're going to place it this way. Of course I have to place a little closer, and of course later we are going to make this, of course, also closing up with some greenery. So this is a very easy part. I'm just going to close it with another one of 3, and then I'm going to do little pieces of greenery to finish it off and to make a nice topping. Of course with this one, some greenery. Also on this side, we're going to place it up, and we're going to lay it beside over here and just let it rest in. And of course it looks, maybe for some people it looks difficult, but it is really so easy to do, and you can give your own twist on it, because it doesn't matter how you do it, just do it the way you think you like it. Like I said, I like the neutral tones, but probably another one likes more coloring. So I have this one over here. Now I have to get my fingers off. And I have the last piece which must fitting in. And this one I also get some glue on top over here. And I'm going to place it in over here and this way. And now I have it closed in. So you see, this is the top. We need to use the pieces which are over from a kind of branch. You see, I did pick out all the 3 pieces and I'm going to cut off the smaller ones and I'm going to do the ending of it, and of course the ending of all 3 of them. And of all the picks I use always the last pieces also. And now you're going to very easily do a little bit of glue and work your way to the inside, and so you can finish it off very nicely. But be sure, get away with the ending of your greenery, because that's always a plastic piece and you don't like that. So again, a little glue on the ending, not too much glue, and just place it in here and work your way over it, and so you get a nice closing in. So, but of course I'm going to finish this off and you see in a moment a quick impression. And before I show you the quick impression, I was a little bit further already because we still need to hang our little ball on the underside. What I'm going to do, I'm just pulling it out, and I think I'm going to cut off over here. At least I hope I'm sitting right, like this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to fill up my little ball with some glue. Of course, let it fall in. And now we're going to dry this. Of course, I have to be sure that he doesn't fall. Of course, I have to dry it, and I'm going to squeeze the little rope inside. Of course, I use my scissors just to work it inside. And this is not so easy that I thought it would be, because this is one big mess. So don't do it the way I do it. I hope at the end you will see that it did work, but at this moment I am really struggling to get it in, but we are doing our best. And I'm going to let this dry, and then we have already one of the balls hanging, but we don't know if he's correctly, but you see that in a moment. And yes, in a moment you see a quick impression of our tumbling tower blocks Christmas bells, and I'm so happy how they turned out. Of course, I hope you give it a try and take out your tumbling tower blocks too. And if you want to see more DIYs, come on over to my description box. There you find the link for our DIY channels. And of course, if you like this content and you're not subscribed to my channel, of course I hope you will click the red subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. It would help my channel a lot to grow, so it doesn't cost you anything. So enough talking, let's go to our Christmas bells.